Hi everybody, this is
Date Night Dialogues
with Tag.
and Paige.
We're sitting outside the Walmart amp listening to a live mix of the Star Wars movie and a live orchestra.
Yeah, playing all the cool Star Wars music.
So, today's topic is going to be Briggs on his birth.
Quincy, did we find out today that we're gonna have a baby boy?
Baby boy.
Are you just so excited?
Shapes.
Quincy?
Kind of leading up to it and right after.
Yeah.
So, where do you want to start, Paige?
Well, I think it would be fun to start at his ultrasound.
So we're living at Mount Terrace. Quincy's about a year old, and we start thinking that we're ready to have another one. And I'm working on my master's degree at Brigham Young University, and I'm about 4 or 5 months away from graduating. Like December, January timeframe.
Yeah. Like we got ultrasounds on all the kids, and when we went to find out what our second baby was, I just remember being really excited to find out that it was a boy. So we were gonna have one of each, and
Right
that's
off
just
the bat.
perfect.
Yeah.
So we had a girl, and then we were gonna have a boy. So I remember being super excited about it.
That was a really interesting year for us,
Why is that?
because we did so much like big events that year. So I'm like 4 months away from graduating. You get pregnant with our second child. And meanwhile, I'm working like 3 jobs because I'm trying to save up down payment for our house so that we don't have to pay mortgage insurance. And going to school full time my last semester. So that was a stressful time.
Oh
Then
my gosh.
we graduate from college, pack up all our stuff and move in with your parents on West Hatcher Road, 5406 West Hatcher in Glendale. Live there for a few weeks. We buy a house and move into the new house again, so a second move. And then we start a new job where I'm working at Accenture downtown Phoenix.
And we start a new in the new ward, and the Rose Garden ward in Deer Valley Steak. And it's funny because when we got this house, it was just really empty at first.
We had like one couch and a crib for Quincy and a couple of chairs, and that was about it.
Yep.
We didn't have a bed for us. We had to go buy a mattress, remember?
Yeah.
So we were dirt poor. We saved up every penny that we had, scraped it together so we could buy a house. It was
We
brand
bought
new.
a little bit of an expensive house.
It was $145,000, which was kind of a lot at the time.
Yeah.
And
But we decided we would splurge on our house and have a nicer house and just do our best to like save our money and
had
make the payments, and
2
we always
stories.
paid a little extra every month too.
I remember it was 2 stories, 4 bedrooms. All the bedrooms were upstairs, and then downstairs there was like a living room, family room, office, and kitchen, and a backyard. We got a big lot too.
Yeah.
So we move in and start collecting furniture, and you're getting farther and farther pregnant. And right after we move into the Rose Garden ward, I just remembered the address, 22050 North 34th Lane in Phoenix, Arizona.
Very good.
Anyways, so we move in.
Yeah, so we move in. Tag gets called to be the scoutmaster.
Yes, which was a funny calling for me because usually the scoutmaster has like gear and like maybe a car to haul stuff, and I have nothing. I'm fresh out of college, and we had 3 deacons and about 3 active deacons and about 3 inactive deacons, and anyway, so I'm the scoutmaster.
Yeah, and so we had little Quincy, and she was just running around, busy little girl, just super fun, keeping us on our toes and we were enjoying her, and I don't remember I thought the pregnancy went great.
Yeah, I think it was pretty
I don't
smooth.
remember it being hard at all.
But I was going on like campouts and stuff, and so you're getting close to being 9 months pregnant, and I have to go somewhere for business. I can't remember where I was.
Yeah, you went to San Francisco, I think.
San Francisco,
Yeah.
or something like that.
For a business trip.
Yep. So I've been gone all week, and you're just kind of tired of being alone and with Quincy being 8.5 months pregnant, and it's just it's hot and it's August or September.
So I'm home with Quincy for a week. You're gone, and he comes home and he's like, well, I need to go camping tonight with the scouts.
Yeah, I fly home. I land home on like a Friday afternoon, and we're going camping that night.
Yeah.
Out to some lake out in the boonies.
So I decided, since he was gone all week, that it would make sense for me and Quincy to go too, so we could be with him.
I remember kind of asking. I didn't know if you'd really want to. I was like, well, do you want to come with us? And you're like, yeah. So I was like, oh, wow, okay. They actually do want to come.
Yeah, and so we went, and it was a little bit challenging because he was so busy with the scouts, and I was kind of chasing Quincy around.
And I didn't even have a
trying
tent.
to keep her out. It was by a lake. I was trying to keep her out of the water, and
she's trying to throw rocks.
We were in
and
a
get
tent.
too close to the water.
Me and Quincy were the only girls there, and the other leaders kept teasing me, saying, "You're gonna go into labor. You're, just mocking me." I'm like, "No, I am not. I am not due for 2 weeks. Like, that is so far away."
And Quincy was born right on her due date, so we're thinking, okay, you're probably gonna wait for 2 more weeks. If anything's like the first pregnancy.
It felt like I was so confident that there's no way that it would happen.
Yeah, who were the other leaders? There was Steve Smith.
Yeah.
And then Overfield.
Rick Overfield. Yeah.
And anyway, I remember they're teasing you. They're like, we're going to have to do the labor and delivery merit badge with the scouts and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was so funny. But yeah, I was chasing Quincy around, just trying to take care of her, and Tag was doing stuff with the scouts, whatever. And I just remember all the stuff.
I was trying to find that right balance between caring for you and Quincy, but I was there for my calling, so I needed to be there with the scouts and help them, cook themselves, and know where all the stuff. And so anyway, I'm trying to do the activities with the scouts. So you're chasing Quincy all around the beach. Yeah,
and I just remember I started to feel some contractions, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm feeling some contractions. This is weird, and they just kept coming, and they weren't stopping. And so I'm thinking, at what point do I tell Tag about this?
And so we laid down to finally go to bed. And I got up early. I've been traveling all day, packing, then running around with the scouts, driving like 2 hours away from Phoenix. I'm so tired, and my head hits that pillow in the tent, and we're about to fall asleep. And then
and then I finally tell him, "Hey,
I think I'm having contractions."
I am having contractions right now. And so we're
laying there in the tent, kind of timing it, and finally we're like, well, we're like 2.5 hours away from civilization. Like, we were way out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And so it's like, well, should we just, we don't want to be stuck here. That would be so terrible. So we just decided, all right, let's go to the hospital. So we left.
So we get out, and I get out of the tent, and I walk over to the other scout leaders, and like, we need to go. Like, why? Because Paige is starting to have contractions. They are like, no way, that's what. And they're laughing, and they thought it was so funny and everything, teasing us again.
But I remember when we got in the Volvo, and we were driving out of the campground. The scouts had their flashlights, and they were doing like
airport traffic control.
Yeah, they were like leading me out with their flashlights. It was so funny. A line of scouts.
So we're in the Volvo station wagon. And I remember I got all the pads and the sleeping bags and pillows that was ours, and I threw that in the back of the Volvo, the station wagon. But I didn't take down the tent because it wasn't ours. Mm-hmm. And so we're driving out. We finally, we're going down the dirt road, up away from this lake. We finally get on pavement, and I start, hustling.
Yeah. So we took Quincy to my parents' house.
We did? I thought they met us at the hospital. No. They met us at the hospital, took Quincy home.
Maybe.
Yeah, because we got to the hospital. Okay. So as we were getting closer to the hospital, I don't know if did I have a cell phone? Or did we get to the hospital and call from there? I don't think I had a cell phone yet. anyways, so I'm driving through the city, and I remember thinking I really just wanted to run a red light.
This is your one big chance
to like
just
just zoom
do
through
something
an
like in the
intersection.
movies.
Yeah. But
So
as
did you?
we
Can't remember.
entered the outskirts of Phoenix and we started getting into like traffic lights, I remember at first when we were by the lake, I was timing them. I mean, they were down to like 2.5 minutes apart, and I was kind of scared. But by the time we got to the city, they had calmed down a little bit. They were starting to be like 5 or 7 minutes apart. So I didn't get to run any red lights. I stopped. And we get to the hospital, call your parents, and Lloyd and Donis come and pick up Quincy and take her home. And then we go check in, and you're in the delivery room or whatever. Got you plugged into all the machines, and by now it's like 1 or 2 in the morning, and it's like, and I am like passing out, so tired. And all they have for the fathers is a hardback wooden chair sitting in the room. I'm like, oh, seriously? You can't,
It's gonna be a
can't
rough
have
night
like a
for
lazy
you.
boy or something? I mean, I want to stay in
Yeah.
the room with you. I don't want to go home, but I was just so tired. I just needed somewhere to lay down. I'm thinking to myself, if only I had a bed, I could just like catch a couple hours of sleep before the baby's born or something. And then I remember, I had in the Volvo is all my camping gear. I've got pads, I've got sleeping bags, I got a pillow. So I go out to the Volvo and I come in with all this armful of stuff because it hadn't rolled it up. It was a big poofy. And everybody's like looking at
thinking
me.
he was the smartest thing in the world.
And I come in and I'm setting up camp by the wall, and I'm rolling out my pad, and I've got my sleeping bag and my pillow. I mean, I should have brought in like a stove and cooked some bacon or something. But
Oh my gosh.
and the nurses thought it was so funny, and I was so prepared. But man, I laid down. I don't know. As soon as my head hit the pillow, I started sleeping.
Yeah. So
And then-
I was on my own at that point.
And you were on your own for several hours because I mean, it was like 2 in the morning, and I think you woke me up about 6
Yeah.
and say, love, you might want to get up. It's starting to happen. I mean, I totally do not even remember anything like that. If the nurses were coming in and talking to you, I didn't hear any of it.
Yeah. So I did have an epidural with Briggs, and I feel like it went well.
And it worked.
It was better than with Quincy. So that was heavenly. And yeah, I don't remember it being super dramatic.
Yeah, so, I got up, not eventful. It wasn't as hard as Quincy.
Yeah. So it was great. We had our little Briggs.
He was a little boy, and
And let's say how like we decided to name Briggs that name because Briggs is a family name for Daddy's side.
yeah, Briggs is the last name of my father's mother. So Maudie Briggs. And that's the closest Briggs relative that we have. And there were some Briggs pioneers that came across the continent, and they settled, and they were assigned to go down into like Utah County, and most of them were kind of around Spanish Fork area. So a lot of Briggses around there, and so anyway, we kind of thought it was pioneer heritage, and it was an interesting name. It was unique.
Yeah.
At the time, I'd never met anybody else named Briggs.
So I love the name.
Yeah, it was cute.
Briggs Taggart Barron.
I just remember being really happy he was a boy and he
Yeah.
was healthy. And so then,
He was a good baby, and Quincy was super excited to have a baby in the family, and she just
we stayed in the hospital
Yeah,
a couple
she was
days, and then
thrilled.
came home to our new house, and Mom and Pop brought Quincy over and saw Briggs. And
I remember that surprise you gave me when we drove home.
oh yeah, I remember that. So here's the deal: we bought this new house, and they offered to pay extra to have them do our backyard, and we couldn't afford it. So for a long time, we just had dirt in our backyard. But I knew that I wanted to get some trees planted. I wanted to get them planted quickly so they can start growing. And we'd kind of picked out all these ficus trees. Isn't that the surprise?
Well, the surprise I'm talking about is the garage door
What? Oh, I was
opening.
talking about
Remember the
trees.
garage door opener?
Oh, yeah.
Like, we didn't have a garage door opener.
Oh, we had to get out and do it
and you
manually.
installed it, and then you were like, can you get the garage door? And I'm just sitting there like, seriously, I just had a
Oh, yeah.
baby. And then you're
That's
like, just kidding. And then you
Push
the button and it opened.
You're like, what?
So
I was thinking of another thing that I did where I planted all those ficus trees. So anyway, then
Cool.
began our life
Yep.
there in Phoenix.
it was really fun. We had our new little Briggs.
Yeah, he was a cute boy. He's been fun. Well, I'm sure we'll tell some more about him on some future date night dialogues.
Uh-huh.
So, anyway, hope y'all enjoyed that. That was the story of Briggs' birth, and we're glad that he's in our family. And
We love him very, very much, and he's a special member of our family.
all right, guys,
With that,
let's get on with our date.
good night.
Good night, everybody.
Hi, Briggs. He's so big. He's standing up all by himself.
Briggs, he's 5 months old. Having
Briggs.
fun in Canto Park. Can you give a little smile, Briggs? Huh?
Paige came up with this wonderful idea to meet here for my lunch break. We're gonna try and do it more often.
You're twisting him.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll like it?
Yeah.
Here he goes. Chrissy loves Briggs.
Wait, Quincy.